Why, yes. After the convention, probably given about a week or two, just enough time to make sure we did some pretty editing, you'll be able to find this content on the channel TuneStop. It's a beautiful black and white picture of my face, which I know will be entirely disappointing after having come here seeing me in person, but well, what can you do? Welcome everybody to the panel, How to Create When Your Motivation Isn't There. My name is John. I'm the owner of the small-time illustration business TuneStop. I specialize in character design and helping people find their way, because this is a crazy world we live in and it helps when you have some answers. Let's see. Okay, cool. We went over that part. And then we do have one other housekeeping item to go over. Yep, just needed to make sure y'all understood that. How to keep creating when motivation isn't there. So I'm qualified to write on this because somehow, some way, despite not having any motivation, I'm still making things and getting along just fine. Think about motivation. It's not always there. It's not always there for you. It doesn't stand by you. It's got commitment issues. It's not going to be there when you need it. Motivation, you're trying to fight against your daily living. Who's motivated after work? Tell me. Nobody? No, me either. It's gone before you make it home. Most days. Pretty much guarantee. And it gets smaller every time you fail. Does that sound familiar? Sound about right? Motivation will, guaranteed, no money back, will let you down. But it's only one part of the creative equation. Only one part. So that means there's hope. You're missing the keys to your creative activity beyond your motivation. Habit, commitment, passion, and vision. And we're going to go over those in a little bit of detail over time. But in short, if you can nail these 4 items down, you're not going to have a perfect time, but you're going to have a better time. First and foremost, you want to leverage the power of habit and commitment. I got most of what I learned about this out of that book right there, which is actually no longer in print, unfortunately. But you can read it for free at overlapbook.com. I recommend it. Step 1, make a plan. Now, it's a little bit simple on the face of it, but, we kind of misunderstand the reality that art is a very big thing. And like with any other big thing, your health, your relationships, your professional career, it takes a little bit of planning if you want to get ahead on it, have some satisfaction. Make a plan, commit to your plan, and grow a habit. Your motivation, it's going to get out from under you. It's going to be squirrely. It's going to make your life difficult because it doesn't want to stick around when you need it. But you can defeat that by doing this. Our operating principle will be to commit to work on your dream every day. Let me clarify. That does not mean finish a single painting every day. You do not have to be on the level of your favorite artist and finish something big every day. They don't even finish something big every day. 8 hours of creative work, pretty hard to do. But it does mean do something to build your creative vision each day. So whether that's investing in a workspace, whether that's getting some rest, whether that's, eating better, altering commitments, whether it's really just any change you make to your lifestyle, anything you do to build your craft, and that can include study, do something that adds to your creative vision. Say it with me. I will work on my dream every day.
I will work on my dream every day.
All right. Now notice I didn't make you say, I will finish a painting every day. I will work on my dream every day. Start off with, that's not right. To start off with, what will I work on? Where will I work? When will I work? And where will I get the energy? These are the questions you have to answer if you want to create. And we miss the opportunity to create because we don't answer these questions ahead of time. You answer these questions ahead of time, you're going to have a lot better time working. What will I work on? Artist block, writer's block, anyone? Yeah, that's what I thought. Me too. Collect your ideas. When you have them, do not let them get away from you. You have no excuse. There's scrap paper, you've got the Notes app on your phone. It's in your hand. It's right there. Notebook, phone, text document on your computer. Capture your ideas and concepts when you come up with them, because if you try to chase them down when you sit down to work, they will be gone. Time that is meant for creating should never be used trying to come up with ideas. You come up with ideas when you're off doing your Excel sheets or scanning your stuff at the supermarket or taking your shower or working out or digging in the yard. That's when you have your ideas, when your body's busy and your mind has to do something else. So capture those ideas when you have them. Don't let them get away from you. Also, when you capture your ideas, you will let go of your old ideas and come up with new ones. Those old ideas will be gone from your head and it will make room for new creativity. So you're not going to be stuck with old, stale ideas. You're going to have better ideas because you're saving the old ones outside of your brain and changing your storage into processing in your brain. Insurance policy against creative block. You have a list of ideas, you have something to work on. If you don't like an idea, throw it away and move down the list. Easy peasy. And you can choose from a set of ideas instead of trying to conjure your ideas from the ether when you're sitting down to create. There again, writer's block, artist block, whatever block, this is how you defeat it. You have your ideas ready to go. You've collected them. You didn't try to come up with them when you were sitting down, when you needed that energy to work. But even with that, where will I work? Now I'm going to hazard a guess that not everybody has an entire room dedicated to creative work in their house. Is that correct? Not everybody has a study, not everybody has an office. That's okay. Find a space in your home and dedicate it to the act of creating. Now that can take some creativity, that can take some work, but there's probably a way you can reserve a space in your home for creating. You probably have a minimum viable option for space that will do you just fine. You don't need a whole office. You just don't need a whole office. But you do need a reserved space set aside for creating. It's kind of like how they tell you, you should only be using your bedroom for sleep, to improve the quality of your sleep. This operates off a similar rule. When you have a space that your brain knows this is where we create, it's going to have an easier time switching your brain over. All right, it's time to make. It's time to create. It's time to get this done. Sorry. Now, in the matter of where will I work, you may have to answer a question of sharing a space with a family or roommates. Talk to them about what you're trying to do. If you're sharing a space with sane people, they're going to be on your side. They're going to help you out doing the stuff that you care about doing, on the condition, of course, that you're on their side with the stuff that they need. If you live with insane people, move. When will I work? Yeah, it's kind of a puzzle, isn't it? It's kind of difficult to parse out. Evaluate your commitments. Everything you're committed to doing may not necessarily be the greatest thing to be committed to right now. Choose a good time. Don't wait for it. Make that time happen over and over. So when I say that, when we have things like, it's a similar principle to being scheduled for work. We all have a work schedule. We expect to go in at a certain time on a given day and leave at a certain time on a given day, and our brain knows to switch over to this mode during that time. I shift over to grocery mode from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday and Wednesday through Saturday. By the same token, you can write yourself a schedule for what you care about. So, for example, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., I shift into art mode. I sit down at this space in my house that I've reserved, and I shift into art mode, and nothing else happens during that time. Now, bear in mind, I'm going to grant something. This may not be the right season of your life to create. And I'm qualified to say that because right now I'm working 2 jobs, and I had a real deuce of a time getting ready for the convention. But I still wanted this ready because I knew this would be helpful for people. You know, real people give pretty good advice if they care to. Now, when you do sit down to work, you got your scheduled time, you got your reserved space. Set a timer. You know, let your brain know in a more concrete way, this is when we're doing this. This is what's happening during this time. Silence or put your phone away if you have to. You know, most of the world is not having an emergency that you need to be attentive to all the time. We can afford to put our phone away for an hour, or silence it, or do not disturb it. Our phones are coming with a lot of nice features for enhancing our focus and making lives easier to ignore our phones, which helps. When that timer is going, do nothing but your art. Whether you are sewing, sculpting, writing, drawing, do nothing but that craft when that timer is going. You make time for the things that are important to you. Is your art important? Okay, good. I'm glad we got some commitment on that one. So here's another important question. Where will I get the energy? You know, we have to address that. It's an important idea. It's an important concept. Because energy is not infinite. We know this. Work and school require energy. Now, what I'm about to propose is not possible for everybody, but it's worth thinking about. If you are out of energy after work or after school, see if you can find a way to do your craft before. When I had a job that put me to work at 8 o'clock, I woke up at 5 and worked for an hour before then. It sucked, but I felt better about myself because I got what I wanted done before the rest of the world took its pound of flesh out of me. You know, we live in kind of a terrible economic time, terrible social time, where we have to spend a lot of our hours working, a lot of our time out in places we don't want to be, making money for people who don't care about us. But, you know, we still have a lot of agency in the part of the world we live in. You know, there's nobody here that's somebody else's property outright. You know, exercise that agency. If something is important, give it that first priority. Don't let the outside world rob you of your opportunity. Do not let the outside world be in charge of something it has no right to be in charge of. Now, if you are out of energy, that's okay. Sometimes you need rest. Do not overwork yourself into hating something you love. Give yourself that space to rest. You know, just understand if you need a few days just to get it back together, and be intentional about that rest. You know, be intentional about, we're going to quiet the house down. You know, we're going to get some naps. We're going to get some extra sleep. We're going to recover. We're going to get right. Be intentional about that. Don't just let it all fly by. Don't just waste it. Rest by design so you can come back stronger when you're feeling better. You know, so what now? Through all these steps, we've been able to develop a plan. Now we execute the plan. Define success with that simple goal. I will sit down at my desk at 7 p.m. and draw for 1 hour. And once you've done it today, do it again tomorrow. Let's do it again. You know, most of our lives, we have it set up where we can do anything for an hour, and we can do it over and over again. You know, we've got time that we put aside for shows. We've got time that we put aside for going out with people. We've got time that we put aside for working out or cooking or, you know, all kinds of other important things. Just put in your craft in that spot and repeat it until it becomes habit. You know, it becomes automatic. Everything becomes automatic. I'm going to make the generous assumption that everybody here flosses, brushes, and washes their mouth twice a day. You will program yourself for success. In the same way that you can program those things that you do to take care of yourself, keep yourself sane, healthy, and clean, you know, you can program yourself for the things that you care about in your life, things that you care about in your craft, external things that are important, that you decide are important, that you make the plan, that you make the commitment, and execute on that. So now we get to the fun part of the show, which is actually a pretty productive time for most of the panels that I've run. But this is where the recording ends, unfortunately, YouTube. We'll see you again some other day. Take care.